Hi, I'm Faith.
And I'm Nasa, and this is
Go Ladies, a podcast about navigating life, love,
and so much more
from a 40 plus perspective.
Light on me.
Yes.
Okay, first of all, I was singing the song earlier. How you gonna steal my song and sing it?
Because I sing the song off the top.
You do
always.
sing a song off
You do. And I've been waiting to join you too.
Yes. Well, look, everyone, we are here again. Yes, we are back on Zoom, but we're back on Zoom. We have a great guest from California, a friend of the pod, a family member of mine, an amazing therapist. Danielle Taylor is joining us now via Zoom from California. Hey, Danielle.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Go Ladies. As you can
It's
probably see, I'm
funny.
just as lively as they are.
I'm trying to call you Danielle and not Danny like I call you, because
But
I
you
always call you
yeah.
Danny. So you'll
No,
hear
you can introduce me as Danielle Taylor, and then the rest of the time, it's all what you want to call me because
Okay, cool. Well, we'll introduce you now as Danielle Taylor.
Yeah.
So before we go into our conversation today, let me give you a little bit of Danny's bio. I have it here in front of me. So Danny is a licensed marriage family therapist who completed her master's in counseling with an emphasis in marriage, family, child therapy. She is currently a full-time health educator at Kaiser Permanente, a major hospital chain out in Los Angeles, and is also a therapist at Real Moms Live. She works with couples every day. She does, of course, individuals and families, and she firmly believes the way a person perceives themselves and the world around them deeply impacts their emotional state and behavior and emotional responses. So I am super excited to be here. As you know, the theme this year for January is New Year, New Blank. And so we did New Year, New Everything, New Year, New Style, New Year, New Health.
Yes.
Well, we got to do New Year, New Mental Health. So thank you, Danny, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I love it. New, everything new.
Okay, so full transparency. Obviously, like I said before, Danny's a family member of mine. I've known Danny for, gosh, a gazillion years now because I was married to her brother. So, long-term family friend. And of course, you've known Faith,
Yes. I'm in the family too.
At least, I know, 10, 15 years. I know, at least 10, 15 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. Her friends are my friends. They become family.
Absolutely.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't think two of us ever meet a stranger, though.
Oh, for sure.
We don't. If you knew my late brother, then yeah.
It is definitely a family situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So look, January is a time, renewal, right? New year, people make tons of resolutions and, we all fall off of them by, the second week of January.
Yeah.
So before you can change anything in your life, you got to change your mindset, right?
Absolutely.
So we thought,
Absolutely.
who better to bring on than you to tell us how we can stick to our goals, and then what should we do to have a good mental health year this year? So let's start with just resolutions. What are the top resolutions you hear people make when they come into your office? Give us
The top resolutions are always, the number one is always, I want to get my body snatched. So always
on my
losing
list.
weight. Yeah, losing weight. And that's on my list as well, right? As a, specific, but weight, finances, always the number one. Got to get out of debt, working on my finances. Relationships, those are always the top. Either I have to improve, get in one, get out of one for some, And so all of those are usually your top three that you see: weight, money, love.
Oh wow. Okay. I think about love as one, but that makes sense. That makes sense.
And the relationship part can look any kind of way, right? Like I said, either I'm trying to, have better relationships, whether that be romantic or even family or even friendships, right? And then a lot of times you want to look at, I'm in relationship, I got to evaluate, do I need to stay in this relationship? So sometimes it's good to reevaluate, do I need to leave? And then there are some people, not all, but there are some people looking to like, okay, this is the year that I'm going to position myself so that I can be in a meaningful relationship. So that's usually how that category of love kind of happens. I'm in those three little areas that I see, in people that I see, people that I meet, and then just, in talking, having conversations.
Mm.
That's kind of what I see as that common thread, those top three.
Okay. No matter what someone's resolution is, what do you consider the first step in changing your mindset or preparing
Mhm.
to tackle any big life goal?
Right. So anything just kind of perceiving, well, really basing that thought in reality, number one. What I find is a lot of times people have these expectations, these goals, and sometimes people they get them from like they look at a couple and then be like couple goals. And it's like, we don't know them. Like we know them for what they present on social media, we know them for what they talk about, but we don't know really what's happening or how they got to the picture that you've seen. And so first thing we have to base, what we base our thoughts and base our expectation in reality. What is it that you want? And if you are using someone as goals, you need to find out how they got there. And so it has to be based in reality because they may say something you go, "Oh no, I don't want to." That's okay. I don't want to go through that. I just
Right.
want the end result. And so our thoughts first of all have to be based in be realistic. That's number one. Number two, then it has to be attainable, something that you can attain. A lot of times we have this overarching goal, and then we want to go from where I am right now to the overarching goal. So if it's weight loss, 50 pounds, I'm not losing 50 pounds in a month. I'm not losing it even,
Totally.
in 4 or 5 months, right? Exactly. And so realistically, you have to say, okay, what's realistic? What can I do? What type of lifestyle changes do I need to change to get to step one, step two, step two? There's a lot of steps, right? And so just looking at things, what's attainable, right? So it has to be specific. You have to have, it has to be something you can measure, something that's attainable, and something based in reality, your thoughts, all of those things. And so that's what I find when you're starting off that way. Okay, what's going to be good for me? Because what's good for Danielle is going to be different for Faith, it's going to be different for Nathan. And although we're all women, we're all over 40, and we're all, we like a lot of the same things and feel the same way about things, it's still going to be a different look for everyone. And so you have to definitely say what's going to be the best for me, and then start from there.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
the smart goals you use at work have to be applied
Absolutely.
to
Yep.
your goal setting as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. And we compartmentalize. We don't take some concepts like, to me, I love concept when I'm counseling people, the concepts that you come in with, like you came in with a specific problem. But what we're going to talk about and what we're going to work on is going to help you in every aspect of your life. And that's what it's about, not just sticking with just, okay, I came in with a problem with my sister. So I'm going to walk away now having a great relationship with my sister. But what you may find is, well, you probably have a relation, that same issue you have with your sister, you have it with everyone else. It just is magnified with your sister, right? So if you don't set boundaries, you probably don't set boundaries with anyone, but
Mm.
you're thinking it's your sister, but really you need to learn to set, better boundaries. And once you do that in every area of your life, you'll realize your relationships get better, or the way you navigate relationships becomes better, even though your sister may not change.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Good.
Mhm.
So let's back up for a second.
Okay.
I know
Mhm.
I'm about the conversation. 'Cause I know her. She's my family.
It's
But
fine. It's fine.
And she
but
know we love conversations.
we
Yes,
do. We have this all the time.
We do.
I was
Oh
just in
yeah.
Los Angeles,
I'll
so
jump in
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
I know.
Great.
So tell us why you decided to become a therapist.
Yeah.
What prompted you to do that?
Ah,
Mhm.
yeah. You know what? So went to school, went to college. Everybody goes to college, and in our era, I am in my early 50s. And so in that time, everybody was pushing you us as Black people, we did 5 things. We did business, we're doctor, lawyers, engineering, and teacher. Those are the 5. So pushed into being, business major until I went to school and realized I don't think so once I took the math class. So finished college with, child development, always wanted to do something with children, always wanted to, when I did upper division, I got into learning about marriage family therapy. And I thought, I was like, gosh, in psychology, I always like the way the mind works, finding out how and why people do what they do, understanding people's behaviors and all of that. That was always intriguing to me. And so fast forward, graduated, had a regular job at Pepsi Cola, shout out Pepsi, for all of my 20s and into 40s. And finally decided, how about you go back to school, stop talking about it and just do it. And counseling was it. I realized just everything that I had been prepared to do was like preparing me, people coming to me, people relying on me for certain things, the objectivity, seeing the gift of having objectivities in such certain situations, even when I'm close to people, seeing things, differently. And so I said, I think this is the field that I want to go in. At first I was going to do teaching, then I said, nope, counseling. And as I've went through that master's program, it matured me, of course, even at the ripe age of 42. It matured me. It opened my eyes to different things, and it also definitely solidified the decision to become a counselor. Like I knew, like yes, this is what it's all about, and this is what I'm supposed to do. And now that I am doing it, I've been counseling, doing the counseling job for 7 years. I've been counseling, so I'm a new babe in counseling, but I've been counseling for 7 years. Um, and it is the best job ever. Even on its toughest day, I love helping people get to that aha moment and help them to eventually be able to counsel themselves. Like you don't need to be with me forever. Go
Yeah.
on, take the training wheels off and go on ride your bike. So I want to be the one to teach people how to ride their bikes and that you can ride your bike with no training wheels. It can happen. And so watching people realize things, especially as women, especially as Black women, Black couples, helping people just see that it's possible is a great joy of mine. And so, even the toughest case and the worst case, I love what I do. And I'm so glad that I finally decided to go back and do it. I think I'm a much better counselor at becoming a counselor at 42 than I would have been at 32 had I done it right after undergrad. Because I finished undergrad in 96, right a year before you all finished undergrad. And I was 26 years old. And from 26 to 42, I've grown tremendously and a total different person. So how I counsel now it's more well-rounded. It also offers life experience that when you're younger, although you may be very smart and very wise, you just don't have that experience. Experience really trumps a lot of stuff, you know? And so I've enjoyed the ride of becoming, and I'm enjoying the ride of doing the work and looking forward to seeing what's going to come after now that I'm licensed.
I I wonder just what the mental shift was like. You said you worked for Pepsi, your 20s through your 40s. For
Hmm.
people who might be pivoting, if you will. We had on a prior episode, our guests thought they were going to go into one field and ended up in another, similar to what you were saying. But what
Hmm.
is what was that mental shift? What did that look like for you to be like, you know what, I'm finally just really gonna go for it?
Yeah, that's a great question. The interesting thing, all while working, it almost seems like every situation personally, even in the workplace of how I've conducted myself has like pointed me to, okay, go back to school. Now, I do have a confession to make. I love learning, but I
Awesome.
hate formalized education.
Mm.
But I love learning. I am a junkie at learning and soaking up information and soaking up things, but formalized. So I knew going back to get my master's was going to be like, but I did it. I knew that in order for me to become a counselor, I'm going to have to do it. So it was a pivot. I had to realize that I was literally jumping from business world
Mhm.
to, or because I worked for a major company all of my 20s. It was a great stable job, but I was jumping from that all the way into something totally different where I'm going to have to make some adjustments financially wise. I'm going to have to switch because I'm not going to make the same money when I'm doing like the practicums and the starting off. It's going to change. And so I had to figure out like how I was going to do that. And so the biggest thing that was a help for me was my faith in Christ. I was like, okay, if that's what you want me to do, then you have to figure
Mhm.
out how you're going to do this. And I've literally watched him transition me into things that I couldn't even have made up time wise in my transition from Pepsi into working. Um, I couldn't even make up the timing, just kind of provided me with a job, kind of figured out how I was going to transition out of that and work here and still do practicum instead of doing both. Um, he shut one job down. I was able to take a severance package from Pepsi that allowed me to have a year's worth of pay because the severance is so good at PepsiCo, right? And so for 26 years I worked there. So 2 weeks for every year you've been there, you're getting 2 weeks pay. So that's 52 weeks. So that was a year pay that I was able to kind of store up while I'm working on these hours to the 3,000 hours that you have to make in order to sit for the exam. And so then I was hired at the agency where I did practicum. All that happened all at the same time. So I was able to now get a full-time job, stay with benefits because I was full-time, able
Mm,
to get benefits, work the job, finish my hours, and take care of myself, you know, the best way I can, being independent and paying rent and all those good things. And so that's how it was just a pivot. Mind wise, I just said, this is what you have to do. There's going to be some sacrifices, it's going to be some changes.
Mhm.
And so I just kind of prepared myself for all of those changes and was realistic, doing it. And then I relied on my family. I have like the best family. We got some flaws, but I have like the bomb family and parents that are great to support anything that I want to do that I knew that if I ran into any snag that I can rely on them to support me. So that helps as well.
That's awesome.
I know
that's
that's a long answer, huh?
It is.
yeah, yeah. That's I mean, the family is great,
Yes.
but also I've been able to be, front row seat to the transition.
Right,
And
right.
you're right. Things were divinely ordered to make
Mhm.
sure that you could complete this path. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's
Yeah, it's awesome to just watch it. I couldn't even have made it up myself and said, "Well, I orchestrated and I knew that I was going to get." No, I didn't know any of that. It just
mm-mm.
happened. And then what I've noticed in my whole life, everything that has happened for me has happened. This is kind of I'm in the space now where I am starting to go after things. I hadn't had to do that. Everything that I've had, things have just kind of come to me. Um, just kind of come to me, and then I grabbed onto it and took it. I think going to get my master's, I think that was the only thing where I said, I'm gonna go get my master's and I'm gonna do it.
Mhm.
Everything else was and then go off to college, but everything else was kind of presented and then I just responded. And so that's interesting that as I reflect back over my life, like everything, every job, people have said, hey, so and so's looking for some, go there and apply. The two jobs I have now, Kaiser, the same. Um, the private practice I work for is just almost been orchestrated. Like, okay, I'm gonna open a door, walk through it. Um, and so I pay attention, like,
Blessing.
okay,
It
yeah,
is.
That's a
it
blessing.
is a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So beyond resolutions,
Hmm.
Black folk take it to Jesus and their best friend
Yeah.
and the bottle.
Yeah.
Because there've been many problems
Yes.
I try to work out
Yes.
with the bottle of Captain Morgan.
Mhm.
He
The
didn't ever.
bottle or some type of white substance. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, or something that smokes. You never know.
Mm,
There's different
yeah.
things out there,
Yeah.
but we try to self-medicate,
Mhm.
and we
Yes.
tend to not talk to therapists because we were all raised to
Yeah.
say, it happens
Hmm.
in your house,
Stay.
stays in your
Yeah.
house. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
That part.
How do you encourage Black people or brown people specifically to step outside of that box,
Mhm.
to seek help
Mhm.
and a professional opinion?
That is such a great question because you are so right. We are just, and I'm a Christian woman, and so I do believe Bible, everything that's that you need is in the Word. However, you also, God's placed people here to help you with wise counsel, right? And so when things have happened in your life, you need a space to untangle that information so that you can, because a lot of us come in with all this information and you find in adulthood, you guys can probably attest to, in your adulthood, you are really relearning, unlearning what you've learned all
Mhm.
your life. You're always learning, and then I may have to unlearn some stuff in order for me to learn something else. Like you learn something else and then you have to unlearn. And so counseling to me is just that, unlearning what was unhealthy so that you can move in a healthier space. So when I'm talking to people, I kind of explain it that way because, our attitude is like, I ain't going down that shrink, or I don't even going no talk to nobody, and I don't need to talk to a stranger. But yet we'll sit at a bar and talk to a stranger and be telling all the business.
Mhm.
Like, yeah,
True.
or our hairdresser, right? Before she became your hairdresser, you was telling her stuff at day one or day two, like, yeah, girl. And so we always are needing to process our stuff. We always do it. And so I try to tell people the same way you process with your boys or with your friends or with your hairdresser, with your bar at the barber shop for guys, right? The same way you process when you're drinking or if you doing other stuff, however you process, or even sometimes people use sex to process, right? All
Mhm.
of those things you're processing. So the need to process has not left.
Mm,
You
Right.
yeah.
That's yeah, yeah. So to say that, and so I kind of appeal to people normal behaviors and normal desires to want to be connected, and then help them see that is what can happen in therapy. Therapy is not here. I'm not here to tell you what to do because I'm not. I'm here to help you figure out what you need to do. Um, and that's so changing the misconception of therapy is where I start. The fact of seeing a black face helps
Yeah.
because representation matters, right? And so that helps pull down the wall. And even explaining, because I come from an era that therapy, oh, no way. So using transparency, using my own stories to help, that also helps kind of pull down the wall. And just being real, not using a bunch of therapy jargon. I
Yeah.
don't. I know the therapy jargon, but I'm real practical. I like to just talk in regular language, and helping people decipher and, navigate what they're doing, and how they can, like that's not serving you. Helping people see what's not serving you, what's not. So that's how I appeal to people. And when you do, they're like, oh, that's real. People, you tend to walk away like, oh, I didn't realize. I thought therapy was something else.
You think about laying on the couch,
Right. Yeah.
crazy or whatever
Yes.
else,
Yes. Yep.
Or
and
the
that.
therapist is like this. The therapist is always, you say something, they're like,
Mhm.
Taking the notes.
tell me more about that. Now, while I do say some of that stuff, let's unpack that. Okay, tell me, say more. But how you feeling about that? Like, how does that sit well, how does that sit with you? I say all those things, but it's more to it than just sitting on the couch telling somebody your problems and then they decipher and then regurgitate back to you so now you heal. No, 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 no. The bulk of the work is on you, not on me. And I'm not going to work harder than you.
Mm.
You came to me, I'm here to help you decipher and then make better choices in whatever state, you're in. And so that's what therapy should be about. Now, I can't say that it's always with everyone, but that's how it should be, helping people become better at whatever area they want to become better
You hear people say that you can find the therapist that's right for you,
Mhm.
at. Mhm.
but is that really true? Like, I mean, you see people who, they go, they're like, well, that wasn't no good. I'm never going back. Are you
Mhm.
really able to search around to find the therapist that fits your style?
I think you have to be open to that. So anytime I'm telling someone to look for a therapist, I always say let a person know exactly what you need from them, right? So I am the queen of confrontation. Confrontation doesn't mean I'm calling you out on your stuff, but confrontation means just bringing up something that I'm seeing that you're not bringing up. So I'm just making note of it and bringing it up and kind of putting that before you. That's what really confrontation is. And so, I tell people that I do that, but I also know how to dial back if a person is not. ready for all of that. And so I always encourage people to go in and really talk about what it is you need from. This is what I need. This is what I don't need. And let the person know. And if the therapist is like, oh, well, I don't work that way, then you already know, okay,
Yeah.
probably not the person for me. So really being open and being willing to say, this is what I need. That's really the first step of therapy work, is really beginning to ask for what you need. And that's part, and any good therapist is going to hear that, and they're going to be honest, like, well, you know what? I'm going to refer you to a good person that I know that kind of fits that. Or they're going to say, absolutely, I appreciate the fact that you came in here and you had the courage to even speak of what wanted from the relationship, the therapeutic relationship. And so that's important. And so I believe you can find something that fits, because the therapeutic relationship is the most important one. And if you don't trust the
Mhm.
therapist, if you going in there going, you gonna side eye the first session, and it could be up to maybe 2, 3 sessions. So I usually start off with, I was like, you don't know me, I don't know you. We're gonna be getting to know one another the first couple of sessions because you don't know me. And
Right.
that kind of lets down this guard of like, oh, she gonna judge me, because a lot of times people feel they go in thinking they're gonna be judged. And so that's the first thing, being willing and open and honest to say,
Shut
I'm
up.
scared.
Nathan,
Ooh,
you
why
right.
she point at you?
Yeah.
Because my first therapy session ever, I went in, I was broke down, y'all. And I actually started crying. I was like, wait a minute, I ain't no punk bitch though. Don't think I'm no punk bitch. And then look at me like, what? And I'm like, I ain't no punk bitch. I really ain't. I'm just really upset right now.
Yeah, my response would have been like, well, who said that's a punk bitch? Like who told you that? Like,
Right.
yeah. Or I would have been like, I believe you not.
Exactly.
Don't be
But yeah,
punk.
we do have these misconceptions. We
Yes.
don't want to feel fragile in front of someone else. And it's
Right.
like the
No.
Yeah.
therapy room is the room for you to literally be more of yourself than you are to anyone else. And I know that's a scary concept, because this is even scary to me, and I'm a therapist, right? And so, at 26 becoming a therapist, it would have been very hard. But
Mhm.
when I became one at 40, 42, or started the process at 42 and became one at 45, and now I am 52, I'm like, yeah, I can go ahead and sit in front of somebody and just be like, because I already know you, the holding space for me.
Mhm.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I could be raggedy, ratchet, holy, non-holy,
Yeah.
say I did something that's embarrassing, and your job is to hold that and
Mhm.
not judge me, and figure out how all of those things that I did, and how am I going to move on from that? I'm going to work through the emotions of all of that and then become healthy in my well-being. So that's what it's about. But it is hard. It's hard, Nay. It's hard out there.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be perceived like, I'm not, like you said, I ain't no punk bitch. And the therapist probably like, okay.
Right.
And the therapist I was at the time was also not black. So I'm sure she looked at me
Mm,
like, what's going on? I'm like,
right.
First everybody was like, what is that?
What?
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure. So you gonna have a question?
No, you're
Okay.
great.
So last year, and probably for the past 2 years,
This
we've
is good 3.
seen right, we've seen a rise in prominent
Mm,
African American suicides,
Yeah.
right? Most recently, Twitch. You
Mhm.
know,
yeah.
I mean, it's just very prominent people that we assume had
Hmm.
very good lives,
Mhm.
have
Mhm.
committed suicide. And even personally in my own family, we
Mhm.
had a family,
Mhm.
I had a family member who committed suicide last year. And so the pressure is building, right?
Hmm.
And people are taking this route off for whatever reason that they decide that this is no longer the place that they want to be.
Hmm.
Have you professionally seen a rise in suicidal ideations? And
Hmm.
how can we as lay people
Mhm.
help someone who may be having those and getting them to the help that they need?
Got it. Great question. I've seen a rise in subtle. I've seen a rise in just people that I'm seeing, just not necessarily, because ideation It's not just, I want to kill myself and I'm on my way to do it. Ideation is, I'm tired of this and I could just be out. Like, hey, if somebody take me tomorrow, cool. Because
Mhm.
this is ridiculous. So, ideation is not just wanting to kill yourself or wanting to, but just wanting to just be out of whatever's happening right now. And so that's kind of the start of it. And so when you hear talk like that, you can validate it. Like, wow, I can see how that, how this situation can really just make you want to not just be around, because there's sometimes that I'm like, sir and ma'am, this is crazy, right? But I know that I have such a silver life that I want to be around. I'm just nosy. I want to be here and I won't be gone. I don't want nothing going on without me. I won't be here.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
but there are times where I feel tired, right? And so really kind of appealing to people, when if you hear that type of language, is to think about it for yourself and go, I've been there. I haven't wanted to kill myself, but I've been there. And as you show the empathy for the person and letting them know that you're there, that you don't have to be strong. This society is teaching us to be very performative based. So everything is performance. And when you feel like you're always having to perform, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And so that's another thing that you could do just as friends, as lay people, is that the performance is not the ultimate ending of success. To perform, perform, perform. There's other ways that you can become successful. There's other ways where success shows up. It doesn't just show up in the performance. So letting people know it's okay to not be okay, right? So if I'm always on to perform, I'm feeling like I have to be okay all the time. But if I know that I don't have to be okay all the time, it takes the pressure off for me not wanting to be in a particular space or in the world, right? I'm like, okay, I could be in this world and not be okay.
Mhm.
So helping people feel like they can be not okay. That's a huge thing. It just goes to speak to what you said to the therapist, right? You immediately was like, I'm crying, but I'm okay. Like, and it's like, well, no, you're not. Number one, you're here. And number one, you crying. Like clearly you're
Mhm.
not okay. But we feel the
Gotten
pressure
better
that
since then, y'all. I've
You
gotten better.
have, you have, you
no, no, much better.
have.
Oh, no, no, much better. I know this. Yeah, I know this is a while ago.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And we all have our moments. I have to, everything that I say and everything I'm saying on here, I have to turn it to myself and remind myself in moments. Like, just because you grind don't mean you punk. Just because you not performing doesn't mean you're not smart. Just because you didn't pass an exam doesn't mean you're not like, so all of that I have to reframe my own thinking too, because our human our human behavior, basic human behavior goes to, I failed, I'm a failure. That
Mhm.
all or nothing. That's the number one, thought distortion that we have. It's either it's good or it's bad. There's never anything in between. And so we have to fight that, right? And so helping people do that as a, friend, do check on your strong friends, like they said, because it is the strong ones. It's us that people come to that think like, oh, I can always rely on you. Even though I can rely on you, Imma still ask how you doing, and it's not gonna be a rhetorical question. So usually I say, "How you doing?" And that's not rhetorical before they even answer, because I already know I'm gonna get, "Girl, I'm good." Well, what is good? What does that mean?
Yeah.
Just start digging, asking, and be real in asking, not in passing.
Mhm.
Um, because we're in a rat race. We're always moving, we're always doing. And so switching from doing to being is gonna be important.
Mhm.
Faith's really good at that. Faith will text you and be like, welfare check. And I'll be like, I'm good. She's like, no, for real. And I'm like, I'm about to
No.
die.
Okay, not rhetoриcal, right? And I do the
Right.
same thing too. Yeah, I do the same thing. I'm like, hey, Nay, how you doing, girl? I'm good. What that mean?
Because we know her.
Well, well,
Yes.
really, now you have done so much better, because now I go, how you doing, girl? Mm-mm.
But
Girl, I got 50 million things going on. It ain't good.
you did.
Girl,
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, she is definitely. I've literally watched, because again, it is so great to have great family, great sister-in-law, and I will have to say, not because I know her, she's my brother, but Nasa is the best sister-in-law on this side of the
Hey.
Mississippi. Toot toot. don't nobody touch Nasa. If you do, you gotta come see me. Boom.
Boom.
But no, she has been a blessing. We are so happy that she is. My father has another daughter to spoil, and he does it, and he spoils her well.
He does. He does.
He has to sometimes force himself on her to spoil her well. But now I think she now receives it well. She's
I
just like,
do.
oh, okay,
I
Good.
do. Both of your parents. I know
Mhm.
both of
yes,
your
they
parents
do.
have been a blessing. As I mentioned, I spent December, the
Mhm.
Christmas holidays in Los
Mhm.
Angeles with them, and I laid around. Like I cooked one day. And that's just because we wanted to cook to show
Yeah. Yeah.
appreciation,
Yeah.
but I didn't have to cook.
Yeah.
Like there was a
Mhm.
ham, there was a roast, there was enchiladas. Like I came back a little plump. I was like, "Well, this is nice." I was living
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
Danny took me to everywhere I wanted to go in LA.
Mhm.
It was really good vacay.
Yeah, we
So
had a good time. Yeah, it was actually one of the best times we had when you guys visiting. It was
yeah,
really just it was and we've had some good times, but it was one of the best times. And so we're looking forward to like last Christmas was a good Christmas when we all
yes,
met in Vegas. So we're
yes,
looking forward to those type of times as a family. And so yeah, those just checking in on your people
yeah.
and
Yeah.
and not giving them the out of going, oh yeah, girl, I'm good. That's the favorite.
It
It's
is.
all good. And
Yeah.
you notice how higher pitch your voice get when stuff ain't right.
That's true.
That is.
Yeah.
When you don't remember people, it just gets higher and higher. Stuff not right. And so we just have to just call our friend, we're gonna be friends. We have to be real friends, not just be
Mhm.
surface. And just really get to the root and love on one another. And just be like, I'm here for real. That's not a postcard.
Yeah.
Like, call me, even if it's midnight. And
Mhm.
if I hear the phone, I'm gonna answer it. If I don't,
Right.
leave me a message. So it's like, really being there for our friends. That's how you could do as just regular lay people is just be open and honest, have honest conversations like you all are doing on Go Ladies. I love you guys. You guys are so cute. Um, and you guys are cute as friends. I love it. I mean, I've watched it, blossom, but it really is a good testament to the chemistry that you all have. And because you're like the same, but yet you're very different, right? But it complements because what I've seen that you guys have done is you've accepted one another for who they are.
True.
And that's the key to friendship, you know, like you said, everybody got to carry. I got to carry too. She
Mhm.
know I have a carry in Atlanta,
Mhm.
right? You know, my goddaughter and her daughter are now realizing we ain't cousins. Absolutely, you're not, but you are.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah, you're not, but you are.
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
been. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
In the black
So
community world,
Oh
your
yeah.
cousin.
Your
you
cousin.
cousins. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. And so those are things that I treasure. Friendships, love, acceptance, not feeling judged, even when you're doing something that's like, that's a little questionable, but I'm gonna tell you it's questionable, but I still got you.
Right.
Because
Right.
I know you just in a situation where now you just doing questionable stuff, but you know, but
Mm.
being able to say that's questionable, you need to stop doing that, but I still got you. I'm gonna still love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what matters. So that's what lay people can do. I didn't notice I give long answers, huh?
You are fine. This you're dropping gems that we all need,
Absolutely.
so
Yes.
we're fine.
Yes.
It's much better than having a guest
Woo.
that goes, "Yes."
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You're
Or
giving.
give the textbook answer.
Right.
Well,
No.
in chapter 5 of
No. We're not doing
understanding
that
behavior,
today.
you need to know that the frontal lobe is don't nobody care
Yeah.
about that.
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No.
That is not our
Mm-mm.
audience, that's
No.
not who we invite on.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. It wouldn't be who you get. You've been like, okay, we didn't book the
Right.
wrong
Yeah.
person. Yeah.
Mhm. Our goal is to keep it authentic, transparent, and real
Absolutely.
for 40 plus
Yes.
people,
Yeah.
and you're doing
Yeah.
exactly
Absolutely.
thank
I
you.
love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah. So that's basically what you could do. Just be authentic. Don't you find that we're not, I know I'm not supposed to be asking questions, but don't you find that we are not authentic in our relationships?
Oh yeah. People are fake all the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
relationships.
Yeah. We send the representatives all the time. We be marrying representatives. Like
Yeah.
we just and you go years and years and you're like, I did not realize that's what your feelings were. And so being authentic, that's another, number one, helping people be authentic in your relationships. Even if that means that the relationship may break up, you
Right.
have to be authentic in it, because if you think and break up the whole time, that's showing up in your 10 year. You've been with a person for 10 years and the whole time you've been thinking, I'm about this piece. That shows up in how you navigate with that person and how you deal with that person, how you treat that person. You don't think so, but they can feel it.
Mhm.
So it definitely, we want to be as authentic as we can in our friendships, in our romantic relationships, in our work friendships, even work relationships. Being authentic. We know that we have to code switch sometimes, but
Yeah.
we still want to be our authentic selves. So at least other people will see, okay, I can't go to her with the drama because she's not about the play. She not about all of that because you're being authentically who you are. So yeah, that's what it's about.
Danny, I think you've given us so many gems here today.
Yes.
We
Well,
appreciate you being on here. If
thank
anybody
you.
is watching and is like, "Hey,
Mhm.
I'm in LA or I'm in, California. I need some therapy." How can they find you, reach out to you, get on your private client roster?
So I do work for a private practice at Real Moms Live. Shout out to Real Moms Live in Inglewood. And they can reach me. My Google number is 562 and 285-7417. They can send me a voicemail or they can drop me a text message letting them know that they want interested in counseling. I do see couples, individuals. Um, I do see children. Preteen and teens are my best, but I see children as well, and also families.
Mm,
And so if you are needing counseling, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're here in Inglewood serving the community. I'm loving what I do. You can also find me on LinkedIn too.
okay.
Yeah, you could just look up Danielle Marie Taylor on LinkedIn, and it'll say that I work for Kaiser as an educator, and then Real Moms Live as well. So you can look me up
We'll
there.
drop that link in the description box. People can
Yeah.
find it, and the
Yeah.
phone number as
Okay,
well. Description box,
Mhm.
okay,
so people can.
okay. Great, great. It's been a blast. You guys are fun. It's just like talking to my girls.
I mean, we are your girls.
Yes.
Well, hello. Absolutely, you are. Right. And then, yeah, and after this, it's not like, okay, we ain't gonna see her for a long time.
No,
Not
we'll talk to you next week.
Yes.
Cool. Well,
absolutely. And I love the set,
me
ladies.
too. Thank you.
Yes, I love it. I mean, I've seen it, but to be a part of it and then seeing it, I love
Absolutely.
it.
Thank you.
I
Thank
love it. I love it. I love it. Congratulations on your new look.
thank you.
And I just be praying that God just does so many things with this podcast. I did see that somebody was in a whole nother country shouting out, go ladies.
Yes.
Okay. All right, go ladies.
International
Go
now. We're
internet.
fancy.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm definitely praying that God just does all the things
Thank you.
that bring you guys joy. I really do. I love you guys. Mwah.
Thank you.
We love
So
you.
And
before we
thank you so
go,
much.
we're gonna put Faith on the spot here.
Oh, yes.
Ready?
You
I
Where can
love
they
it.
find us?
all the platforms where you find podcasts, including YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, and some other ones.
He's actually looking at me like
I know, but
Right, right, right.
definitely your major
we
platforms
are.
where you listen to podcasts. That is where we live.
Yeah.
So like, comment, share, subscribe,
Yes.
all those great things. And
Yeah.
we'll see you again here next Tuesday. So thank you, Danny.
Thank you, Danny.
You guys have a great
Thank you,
day.
go ladies. Thank you, Nay and Faith. I love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.